Hello everyone, this is Venkatesh Imani, your catalyst needed for UPSC Civil Services preparation. And here I am starting a new series, a brand new series called Brainstorming Series, where I'll be discussing the previous year questions in geography and also some practice questions subsequently, where where in which this will help you to understand how you need to write answers in the UPSC mains exam. So we all know once you are attempting for this kind of prestigious exams, many of you are not aware of how to write a qualitative answer. What is the question? What is the demand of the question? What is the keywords which we need to which we need to put it into the question? How do you structure the answers? All these kind of things are very integral part of practice before you write your mains. So here I am trying to help you in the same process. So as part of this, in this video, today we'll be starting with a question called what is water stress? How and why does it differ regionally in India? So this question was asked in 2019, which is asked for 15 marks. So we will start with this question. You know, my dear friends, these previous year questions will always help you to give a sense of the examination of how questions are framed, what is the demand of the question, what you are supposed to write, what you are not supposed to write. So in that way, previous year questions always give you a trend of how to prepare for your subsequent for your exams. So as part of that, so let us start the discussion of this key question called key question. Let us start. Now we all know what is this first thing. First thing you need to understand what is the syllabus of this question. The syllabus is here geography, key natural resources. So this is water is a key natural resource. It is part of that specific syllabus in your paper 1 general studies. So now how to write this answer? You have so many methods, but a very easy simple method which is easy to follow is start with the introduction, have a certain structure of how to write your answers in your introduction. Okay, so usually you start better with either what is the definition, define it, definition of water stress, define it, and suggest key data or whatever you remember, etc. You start with these things. So this is the key thing of introduction. Then there should be a connecting para of to your body of the answer. So connect the para, connecting paragraph. Then you see what are the key questions asked in the exam. What is water stress? This is one. How does it differ regionally? Why does it differ regionally? Okay, so these are the key questions which are asked. Okay, so now let us, based on that, let us discuss. So why does it differ? Give the reasons. There are so many reasons. So you identify the reasons. See, this is what brainstorming means. Identify the reasons. Then among them, which are the key reasons why there is water stress? Identify the top 3. Then supplement these things with the remaining points so that your answer is more holistic in nature. That should be the structure. Then next, how? Now, how does it differ? That is the areas. You can take 2-3 examples. You can discuss about Himalayas. You can discuss about Western Ghats, coastal plains, plateaus, the northern plains, whatever, great northern plains, whatever it, and give the reasons why it is a water stress in that regions, like the pockets of Bundelkhand and all, the rain shadow regions, the drought prone regions, why there is a water stress. You can show it that way, or else you can also show it in a map, which I'll be discussing it. Then give a conclusion. As part of the conclusion, your conclusion should be solution oriented, futuristic oriented, where you are trying to address the problem of water stress. In between, you can also add, though government initiatives were not asked, you can give around 1-2 lines about the government initiatives in this initiatives to reduce water stress in the country, what steps they have taken. You can also write about that and then give a solution oriented. Okay, and as you write these questions, you can have some key add-ons, uniqueness. where you can discuss key indexes, keywords of the answer, which I'll be discussing now, a unique map, anything which is unique government initiatives. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, for every question, what is the uniqueness which you are bringing? Think about few lines, few minutes. Then, what is a key uniqueness which I can bring it on here is, share example, a map, some keywords, key indexes. Now, can you do this without preparation in the exam? No, my dear friends. As you practice the answers in the days leading to the exam, whatever you are practicing, only that you can replicate in the main exam. Suddenly everything cannot be achieved in the exam itself, right? So you have to practice these kind of things in the days leading to the exam. So what you practice, which you can deliver on that specific date of your exam. So this should be the approach. Okay, so now let us discuss about the things. Now, what is water stress? So let us start with the introduction. Water stress is a condition where the demand for water exceeds the available amount during a certain period, or when poor quality restricts its usage. So what is water stress? Simple point, when there is no sufficient water that is there, we can call it as water stress. This is because of when there is demand is exceeding the supply, or else even though water is there, it is of poor quality which will restrict its usage, which is calling it as water stress. So you can start with the definition as I have told you here. Then you can give the facts. So there are so many facts I have provided. It is practically impossible to write all the things in the exam because there is also a time matter. But if you are able to do it, very well. Otherwise, you can see it. So I have given some more points. India is home to 17% of the world population, but only has 4% of the water, putting the stress straight away. And there is one more important thing, my dear friends. So many people don't know this. Yes, only few students who are of optional level and who have a bit curious mentality, as they read the newspapers, they can get this one. According to the United Nations adopted Falkenmark water stress indicator, see, I have got this point in the newspapers. Yes, whenever there are articles on newspapers, there are some kind of infographics which are already there in the newspaper. As part of those infographics, you can see UN adopted Falkenmark water stress indicator clearly shown. So the most widely cited measure of water scarcity, national per capita availability, indicates water stress conditions. So according to this Falkenmark water stress indicator, our per capita availability of water is 1045 cubic meter, below the international threshold of 1700 cubic meter. It indicates that our availability itself is sufficient to the needs. So there is already a water stress. So these are the ones which are uniqueness. So if you start with these things, see, this kind of data you should already have with you. From this data, you should be able to represent in the exam. So at least if you have this much data, maybe you might be able to write water stress definition, and according to this Falkenmark water stress indicator, you can write this word and you can go ahead. You can skip this point. Or else if you don't remember this, you can straight away start this. So there are so many methods to write, right? So this is the one you have to start with. Then the connecting para. So always connect the question with your things. So then the connecting para. This water stress has been quite predominant in urban cities of late and even extended into various parts of our country like Himalayas, which is causing water stress. For example, there is a concept of dry zero in cities like Chennai, which is aggravating the crisis. So you are saying that there is water, you have defined water stress, and you are saying that this is aggravating in various parts of the countries like urban cities and regions like Himalayas, where you have seen the concept of dry zero, day zero, dry zero, day zero, whatever it is, in cities like Chennai, Shimla. So this is what? Introduction, connecting para. Now let us go to the crux of the answer. Now why does this differ? Now we all know there are so many reasons, combinations of meteorological and anthropogenic factors. There are so many reasons, but you have to identify the top key reasons why there is water stress in our country, and you should be able to show them in the initial paper, in the initial point itself. See, For every answer, imagine that if you are writing 7 points, for every 7 points, you have 3-4 priorities, and even sometimes one top 2 priorities, right? So you should mention them as right at the top. Examiner should not see those points, should not look for checking those points somewhere. He has to check it right at the top. So in this way, please check, identify the points. So as part of this, one of the factors which I have identified is geographical factors or meteorological factors, which you can see. So as part of the geographical factors, you can see rain shadow region of Western Ghats, like Vidarbha region of Western Ghats, like the Vidarbha region, like the Rayalaseema region of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana region, northern Karnataka are receiving less rainfall, and they're always subjected to vagaries of monsoon. So there are other regions which are subject to vagaries of monsoon. So there are so many pockets of small regions in our country, like Bundelkhand region of UP, where geographical factors make it, whether it is lack of terrain, proper soil, proper whether it is the rock surfaces which doesn't make the water to percolate, all these factors will lead to lack of less groundwater, causing enough stress locally in that part of the world. So all these are geographical factors. So write those geographical factors, give them examples. You can see geographical factors. I have given so many examples here, right? Whether it is about the rain shadow regions giving less rainfall, or else you can also talk about the slope of the region. You can talk about the soil and the rocks, geology, which will help in percolation, right? So all these things will talk about the groundwater availability in our country. Then other factors, anthropogenic factors, man-made factors, which are aggravating like anything. So usually there is always a simple thing: nature causing severe disasters, and man-made factors aggravating it like anything. That is one section. Okay. At the same time, the severe disasters, one of the reasons why severe disasters are increasing is also because of the man-made factors of climate change, which are triggering the intensity and frequency of meteorological factors. So you have to remember this concept. Wherever it suits you, you have to write that. So not here, but in general. Then next factor, which is very important here, is excessive groundwater usage. So the groundwater which is used for our agriculture led to overexploitation, particularly in the Green Revolution areas of Punjab, Haryana, where the groundwater has depleted the water table. Overexploitation has depleted the water table, putting enormous environmental stress in that part of the world. So this is one point: excessive groundwater usage. It is not just in Punjab, Haryana, the northern, it is very high there. Along with it, even in other areas of Green Revolution areas, it is a common phenomena. Simple point. Why does it so? It is because the Green Revolution requires certain kind of seeds, fertilizers, and all these things which need more water. Simple point. The inputs needed for Green Revolution require more water, putting more stress on water. That's it. Okay. Then other factors: faulty agriculture cropping patterns. Yes, the cropping patterns. So what is pattern? Patterns. That means which areas, which agriculture are you practicing? Cropping patterns. So these cropping patterns should be with the ecological needs of that specific area. But you have growing crops like sugarcane and paddy where water is available. Less availability is less. For example, you take sugarcane. You are growing in Maharashtra, which is a water stress state. 96% of irrigation in Maharashtra is meant for sugarcane. That's a mind-boggling word, right? That's what you have to write. Faulty agriculture cropping patterns which are not in with the ecological needs of that specific area. That's what I'm writing here, right? For example, here you see water footprint. What is this word? Water footprint. This is a key word. You don't find everyone writing this word, right? This is, you can add water footprints of crops like sugarcane. By nature, these crops need more water. You cannot grow in areas where there is less water. That's what the idea is. That's what it's called, water footprint. The footprint of water is very high. for these crops. That's why they're called as water guzzling crops. Remember one word here, guzzling crops or water footprints is very high, and thereby it is causing water stress. If you know, one of the reason why Kaveri Basin in Karnataka is having a conflict, Karnataka Tamil Nadu Kaveri water conflict, is because of the supply of water. One of the reason is more demand for water in Karnataka, where you are using crops like paddy. This is one of the reason, not the only reason, right? So this way Kaveri Basin conflicts. So man-made factors, water stress, are leading to conflicts on the ground level. So these are some of the main points which you need to write. You see, we are discussing agriculture, and another main reason is industry. We'll discuss that. You see, industries, there are so many industries which demand so much. There is industries, how they are causing water stress. There are two parameters here. One parameter, growing industries need more water. Another parameter, industries polluting the water supply, leaving them less accessible. Leaving them less accessible. This is one method. Then what more other methods? See, this is one reason why it is happening. You can see in UP, Kanpur, leather industries putting enormous stress on the water supply over there and leading to less availability of water to the quality of water to the local people. Then population density. Yes, one of the reasons why we find why regionally it differs in our country is we have urbanization increasing at a rapid pace in our country, with cities like Chennai, Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi, which are regarded as the growth engines, where they subsequently attract more population from the hinterland, leading to more population density within a small area, which is beyond their carrying capacity. Cities surviving beyond their carrying capacity. A city like Delhi, you can see Delhi, it cannot supply beyond a certain point. But our top heavy urbanization is putting more stress locally in the cities because they don't have enough water sources. That's why we have seen last year 2019 Chennai is in news for the wrong reasons of where they are getting water in trains from the hinterland and the neighboring states. That's what is called concept of day zero or dry zero, where there is less availability of water and there will be some linkages here. So this is one method. Then what other factors? See, these are all the main points. So whether it is industries, whether it is the population density, particularly increasing urbanization, whether it is the faulty agriculture patterns, geographical factors, excessive groundwater usage, we have identified 1, 2, 3, 4 points which you need to show it in the initial level. Okay, so this should be your key points. These are your 4 points. Then other factors which aggravate the crisis of water stress, I'll discuss now. Lack of traditional water harvesting systems. A region like Rajasthan and a region like Vidarbha region of Maharashtra, both are having different both are arid regions, but Rajasthan is much better suitable because they are having traditional agriculture practice, water harvesting practices which are doing better than Vidarbha region. So traditional water harvesting systems should be restored at the ground level. And other factors which can lead to regions are salinity in coastal areas, global warming, which is another factor which is causing a danger in certain parts, which is changing the water availability in regions like Himalayas, inadequate storage and distribution in where they receive more water in areas like Northeast. Okay, see, Northeast region, it gets more water, heavy rainfall region, but inadequate storage capacity and distribution is causing certain stress. These are all the key points, right? I have given the examples locally, but at the same time, you can see here, you can identify certain things in such a way that You can now, how does it differ? You can draw this map of the world, of the India map, where it is. I have showed it here clearly. You can draw this map. You can see here extremely high water stress. Here you see the dark blue, light blue, medium high, and much low blue is the northeastern region. So why this water stress is much different here? Why it is high here? Why it is not? As you draw it here, you can give your reasons like this: excessive groundwater. You can give these regions as rain shadow. You can give this desert region, arid region, Bundelkhand. You can see this. All this is green revolution, right? Then you can see here in the coastal areas, salinity and excessive groundwater usage. Then you can see here, though water stress is less, very low, you can say very minorly somewhere it is talking about the distribution aspects and inadequate storage capacity. No irrigation here, no storage. That's what you can see here, right? So whatever the key reasons which you have identified, you can show it them in a map here. Draw the map and along with it give the reasons. This is the uniqueness which you bring here. Okay, you are showing the region with baseline water stress and you are also giving the uniqueness. So this is your method. And as you read here, one more thing which I would like to tell you is, you see these data here. As you see, whenever you see the part of things like what is these kind of infographics in the newspaper, you can identify the concept of day zero here. You can identify the groundwater, surface water. You can see the keywords here. You can always learn these things from the newspapers. So identification of better presentations, you can learn from infographics of the newspapers. These are the some of the things. Then subsequently, what steps the government has taken to reduce it? The steps taken are, you see, Honorable Prime Minister has written a letter to Sarpanchs on 8/6/19 regarding the importance of water conservation and harvesting. You can see in the Mann Ki Baat of Prime Minister, he has discussed about those things. He can discuss about creation of a new Ministry of Jal Shakti for dealing with all matters in an integrated manner, very important. Composite Water Management Index of Niti Aayog, which tells about the quality of, brings awareness about and how much actually water stress is there in our certain regions. Water Management Index of the Niti Aayog, and similarly so many other things. Mission Kakatiya, where you are talking about Mission Kakatiya of Telangana, which is much is in news, where local lakes restoration of the local lakes. You can discuss about so many points, whatever you remember, right? Then what is the solution? Conclusion should never be a summary. Please note down always this. You should never write summaries. Okay, you should write always futuristic oriented. So to reach the goal of sustainable development of goal number 6, clean water and sanitation, water stress has to be tackled with a decentralized approach. Why decentralized approach? You cannot sustain it from the central level. It has to be at the ground level, at the district level, at the mandal level, at the local village level. So why? Simple point. The question itself says, why regions are different regionally? So the crux of the question, different regions have different solutions, decentralized approach. So is needed along with focus on water conservation, which the government is doing, like restoration of the lakes as part of Mission Kakatiya. And you have to look for sustainability of sources, so that deforestation, all these things should be avoided in certain areas. Restoring traditional water harvesting systems. There are so many traditional water harvesting systems across different parts of our country. Proper sewage treatment plants and checking pollutions so that access to water is increased, and promoting awareness campaigns nevertheless to understand the crux of the water, right? So awareness campaigns are always needed, supplementing all these kind of things. This is how, my dear friends, you have to write. You can see the keywords which I have discussed here: Fauconmark water stress, concept of dry zero, meteorological and anthropogenic factors, rain shadow region, over exploitation, cropping patterns, which I had discussed about water footprint of crops, keyword, decentralized planning as a solution, sustainable sources, abating pollution, sustainable development goals. With this, I would like to sign off. I will be doing subsequently some more things. So this is another win which I would like, given the infographics. You can check this infographics which you can do which you can derive from the newspapers. And thank you. Please like the video, comment in it what further you need and all. Please hit the telegram, please hit the bell icon for notification, and please join in my telegram channel for the PDF file of the discussion which we had. With this, I'm signing off. Thank you once again. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.